Looking for a way to make a statement without saying a word? Shop I Am All Things Clothier, the brand that lets your wardrobe do the talking. Our shirts aren't just clothing, they're bold declarations of who you are and where you're going. Whether you're crushing your goals, embracing self love, or simply looking to inspire, our designs keep you focused and stylish. So why just wear a shirt when you can wear your mindset? Visit IamEX313.com and choose the shirt that speaks to your journey today because you're more than just one thing. You're everything that you speak. Your circle will change as you accomplish your goals and level up. Everybody can't go. And we live. Happy Wednesday and welcome to another Everybody Can't Go Convo. I am your host, Jessi Holley, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. Today's the day. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about remembering to keep your happy. We talked about keeping the happy in the holidays, and this is the big one. This is the big one. So, of course, we've been talking about self-care. We've been talking about all of the things, all of the expectations, setting boundaries, communication, conflicts, challenges, the fun, those Christmas festivals, and those holiday shops. We've been talking about making sure we keep with our finances and making sure that we're sticking to our routines, keeping our sleep regulated, all the things, all the things, all the things. But if you have taken out a chunk of your time today on Christmas, thank you and Merry Christmas. And even if you're listening to this after, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays still for those of you who celebrate and those of you who don't. Happy paid time off, okay? Because who doesn't love a good payday and a day off, okay? So whether you celebrate or not, today is an awesome Wednesday. So, while we're talking about remembering to keep your happy, today, since this is the big one, I want you to make sure that you are prioritizing you during this season. Holiday season isn't over. This is just a super big one. And we have New Year's coming up. Hey, you never know. That may be the super big one for you. I like all of the holidays. So Thanksgiving is big to me. Christmas is big to me. New Year's Eve is big to me. The eves, the days, the night befores, the day ofs, the day afters, all of that. I just love the holiday season. And during the past couple months, we've had back to back to back holidays, literally every couple of weeks. So I'm still super excited, albeit I am a little tired. I am a little sleepy, but I am still enjoying myself and all of those holiday markets. Y'all know I love those holiday markets. I won't tell you guys how many I've been to because we are being financially responsible. But just know it took everything in me to not just buy all of the random trinkets. I had a boss back in the day that called it trinkets and trash. And he's like, don't collect that stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. Mental note. But I was able to contain myself, control myself as I went through those little markets. I was able to enjoy the sights, the sounds, the smells, the environment without just picking up a bunch of stuff, just a bunch of random things. So let's make sure that during this holiday season, I bring up those finances and not going crazy at the holiday markets because you need to prioritize you. And part of doing that, even though it can feel great in the moment to make those purchases, do those impulse buys, that instant gratification, make sure that you keep in mind your short-term and long-term goals so that you can be sure that you aren't trading in that instant gratification of getting something right then for causing yourself a bit of an issue in a couple weeks from now or a little later down the line. So make sure that during your prioritization of yourself, if you can, take a moment, take a breath, take some time for a little bit of self-care. Remember, self-care is not a luxury, doesn't have to be expensive. We're just making sure that we have those one or two things or seven that we're doing for ourselves. It can be something small, do a face mask, take a longer shower, grab that body moisture bar, just do a little something for you. If today is your day to rest, by all means, set those boundaries, not just with yourself, but with anyone else who has expectations of you. And if today is your only day off, go ahead and rest. And really, if today is your only day off, somebody should be bringing a plate over to you. But I digress. That's neither here nor there. I do remember the days of working holiday retail, and Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day were the only days off for a few months straight. A few months straight, especially if you have your, regular 9 to 5, and then you're doing that part-time work, you're doing something part-time, and sometimes your 9 to 5 can be taking up all of that time. You're doing 6 days, you're doing 7 days. Um, so if Christmas Day is one of your only days off, shout out to you. I remember those days. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself with this little 24 hours that you have, and do something that you enjoy. Take a break if you need to. Even if you are participating in the festivities, if you need to take a break and a step away so that you can take a little bit of time for yourself, so that you can just take that breath, make sure you take that time away. And just as a reminder to you guys, remember, I talked about this just a couple minutes ago. Mind your finances. And I know you may be thinking, well, Christmas is already here. What do you mean, mind my finances? You guys know I'm a fan of a good bargain, of a good sale. Why? For the hunt. But make sure that you're minding your finances, because even if you haven't overspent already, make sure that you're paying attention, because there is those after Christmas sales, post holiday sales. You may have done amazing up until right now. If it's one thing I know that there are amazing sales going on December 26th and 27th. How do I know that? Because every year there's some bomb sales going on December 26th and 27th, sometimes even through into the new year, depending on where your favorite department stores are. What are some of your favorite things to do at one semi-annual sale where we go and hoard candles for the entire year? I'm not name dropping because sponsorship. But anyway, we know those places that we go to, that we partake in those after Christmas sales. Make sure that you are still minding your finances, even though the big day is over. Make sure that you still have time. Even if you did slip up, don't dig the hole deeper. You have time to slowly but surely balance it back out. Okay. So you have time to get it together. You got time for that. Okay. And next, remember to mind those expectations. Mind the expectations that others have of you, as well as the expectations that you allow to live. And when I say allow to live, I mean the ones that you don't speak up for yourself, that you don't communicate, recommunicate your boundary or boundaries if there are multiple ones needed. I know it was just, 4 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago, that we talked about those boundaries that are sometimes needed during the holiday, so that you're able to manage expectations of others and manage the expectations that you have for yourself. Make sure that you are still paying attention to those expectations. Make sure that you are recommunicating those boundaries if and when needed. And sometimes you just need to give folks a reminder. So make sure that you recommunicate those boundaries, and or that you remind others of those boundaries, especially if, now let's say the holiday season was the first time you brought them up. or actually like communicated those things out loud. Sometimes it does take time. You will have to remind others, remind them, and continue to teach folks how to treat you. And be sure that you are reiterating those boundaries that you have set for yourself so that others are aware. And so that even if it's not at the forefront of their minds, you can, like, hey, I'm not going to snap because that would seem rude. But you know what I mean. Okay. And also remember that you're minding your routines. So we talked about that sleep schedule. We talked about your diet. We talked about consumption, not just consumption of food, but alcohol, any other substances that you may find fun and entertaining. We're talking about that social media. We're talking about the extra amount of time that we may have to sit around watching TV. Don't watch the Hallmark movies until you are weeping alone on your couch. Don't do it to yourself. We know when we are starting to consume too much of anything that may initially feel good or be good for us. Make sure that you take a breather, take a break, spend time with loved ones. And if that loved one is yourself, who better to spend time with than yourself? Okay. And so, even if you're spending time alone, you're still spending time with yourself. And make sure that you have some parameters set for yourself, drink limit, food limit. Make sure that you still set a bedtime. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm supposed to tell you to still set your alarm. I don't like it. I like to sleep in. So, the days that you can sleep in, go ahead and do that. But make sure that you don't completely throw your sleep cycle out of whack, because all it takes is that one day that you stay up. A couple hours later you sleep in, a couple hours later throws off the whole thing for you. It can throw off your whole sleep cycle. And so, as much as you can, pay attention to that part of your routine. Try to keep that sleep cycle on. If you are still working out, shout out to you. Congratulations to you. Make sure that you are planning out those gym visits. And it's almost that time where your workout space is going to be overrun with the people. So, get in some extra workouts if you can, and or just maintain with your current workout schedule. If you need to switch anything up, do some calisthenics at home, do some stretching, yoga, different things at home. That's an option too, just so that you can save on just a little bit of time to and from the gym instead of just skipping out on it altogether, so that you can make sure to still keep in some of your routine there, as much of your routine as you possibly can. And of course, it's really easy to continuously scroll when we have time for scrolling. So, the same way I said, don't sit there and just watch holiday movie after holiday movie until you're weepy. Make sure that you're also not just scrolling through. If you start to feel yourself coming down, just go ahead and close the phone, set it on the other side of the couch, and switch it up. Watch an action movie, horror, thriller, suspense, something else, so that you're able to take your mind off of things that may make you feel down. If it's not uplifting you or relaxing you at this time, we'll just take a little step back from it. We'll leave it where it is so that we can have a good time. Whether that good time is alone or with family and friends. Either way, it's up to you, but I want you to be able to have a good and relaxing time. If you're taking time to reflect on loved ones that you may have lost during this time, make sure that you have a grief plan in place so that you can allow yourself that time to feel those feelings. But when you're taking the time to feel those feelings, don't stay there, and don't stay there alone or by yourself. I would suggest that you'd have someone. If you need to phone a friend, make sure that you have set aside some scriptures or different things that can be uplifting to you, things that can shift your mind away from that. I know that sometimes when we are reflecting on loved ones, it is easy to spiral out of control and to kind of like just sit in that and let it take over a larger portion of our day. I know that grief comes in waves, and I find that for me at least, it helps to have some welcome distractions already in place so that I can take my time to feel, but to make sure that I don't feel and feel and feel and feel. And suddenly I look up and realize that the whole day's gone by. Sometimes a couple of days have gone by, and I'm still in that place of grieving loss as opposed to celebrating and being thankful for the time that I had and or the good memories that are available to reflect on. So make sure that you keep that in mind as well. And also, if you are looking forward to it, remember your upcoming goals for 2025. So, for the year coming up, we just have a few more days left in this year. Sometimes it's easy to forget that when we're celebrating Christmas or celebrating our holiday, and especially the gift giving holidays. And sometimes it's easy to lose sight of those goals that we have been working on. Even if you haven't been working on your upcoming goals, you can still take some time out to reflect on your accomplishments that you've had so far this year. Remember that a small exercise that I suggested to you guys of going back, scroll back through your phone, take some time to actually take a look at your year in review. And also remember, as you scroll back, even if you don't want to, if you want to just think about some of the things that have happened over this past year, do remember it's okay if this year was one of those years that you just made it through. That by itself is good enough as well. So make sure that you don't shortchange yourself. If there were some small wins, quote unquote small, because all wins are big wins. But if there were some small wins that you kind of glossed over because you had to get to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, or, you might have just said, well, no one cares. Well, guess what? I care. I care. And you should too. So even if no one else does, give yourself a pat on the back. You don't have to share everything on social media. You don't have to, make your I did all of these goals or here's my small goals post. Just make sure that you take that time to give yourself a pat on the back and take that time to actually recognize where you were at the beginning of this year and look at where you are now. Let's hope it's in a more positive place and space. And if not, take a little bit of time to reflect on, you know, where you started the year and where you are now. And if you don't like the way that that looks, please believe you always have the power to change it. So you don't know what you need to change if you don't take a look at your data, if you aren't tracking. And finally, make sure that you make plans to enjoy the days after the day, after the big day. So even though today is the big day, you guys know that I talked about those sales, that there are always these awesome sales that are available. Make sure that you take a little time to, at least loosely plan. What do the days after the day look like? Do you still need to clean up after those festivities at home today? Do you need to is family staying over? Do you guys have activities planned to do? Quality time that you're going to be spending together? If you can, please avoid running right back to your laptop. Your job will be there the other 2,070 some odd hours for the year, okay? Not including, no, that 280, I think that does include your 2 weeks of PTO. Shout out to those of you who have 3 to 5 weeks of PTO or unlimited vacation time. But make sure that you aren't just going straight back to it after the 1 day off or the 2 days off. Make sure that you take some time, even if you do have to get straight back to it, straight back online or straight back to the office. The season is still here. And there are plenty of things that you can do afterwards, even if that includes just resting. Remember, cleaning some more often, depending on how many relatives you've had over, how big the dinner is. Sometimes cleaning up and putting all of those things away is a 2-day process. If you have relatives still staying over, you could have a week-long process with setting up your guest rooms and all of the different spaces where people are staying over and visiting for the holiday, for the week, or for a couple of weeks, however long folks are staying. And so make sure to plan some things that you enjoy. I talked about spending that quality time if you have people that are visiting. Make sure that you're doing meaningful things, and sometimes that could literally be nothing. It could be as simple as popping popcorn and watching a movie together. And it doesn't have to be a Christmas movie, but making sure that you've chosen some things that you do enjoy. And if it's fun to you to make checklists, go ahead and make that checklist, put it up on the refrigerator or post it in your office or wherever you would actually check the things off of the list, and put down a few fun things that you'd like to do, things that you'd enjoy, and things that your family can possibly enjoy together. And make sure that while you're doing that, that you're also practicing mindfulness. And why do I say this? It's because, again, too much of anything, it can get a little out of hand. So being mindful of, if you're going out shopping, like I said, I love those after holiday sales. Set yourself a limit, set yourself a budget, hold yourself accountable and stick to it so that we don't get too carried away. Again, I'm talking to myself as well as you guys. And the same thing with enjoying, leftovers, or if you are out and about by yourself with friends, family, whomever, and that midday shopping break to go over to whatever is said restaurant in the area while you're shopping. Do stay mindful of your consumption, your intake, just to make sure that you don't overdo it, and that will also help with keeping that routine. And or when you break your routine, it will help you to get back to it quicker, as opposed to completely just falling off the horse and just, waving it off and I'll get back to it the first of the year. We do still have time so that you're able to, if you veer off a little bit, you're not just totally left field all out the way. And again, make sure that you take your time so that you can reflect on your upcoming goals and on your past year, on this past year. Those are some things that I wanted to just remind you guys of so that you can keep the happy in your holiday. Again, everyone who celebrates, Merry Christmas and have a happy holiday, and keep that happy in it. So we will see you guys next week for another Everybody Can't Go Convo. Calling all Gen X women writers. Do you have a book inside of you just waiting to be written? It's time to stop sitting on that dream and start smiling at your completed manuscript. Join us for an unforgettable, fully immersive weekend retreat designed to take you from stuck to published. From March 14th through 16th, 2025, at a luxurious retreat home in Orlando, Florida, you'll be guided step by step by best-selling authors, experienced publishers, and your writing coach, Melissa T., who's authored 8 books and helped countless writers become bestsellers. This is your chance to unshackle the story that's been living inside of you for months or even years and release your voice to the world. Because when you share your words, you change lives one page at a time. Secure your spot today and get ready to write the book you were born to create. Save your spot now. Click the link below.